Hey everyone. Before the season started, we said that because we designed this season, you guys are going to be the ones to rate it. And now, it's finally time to pass that judgment. So we'll show a few hits in the background and go over our thoughts on how it went. And to start, I think every good season has a fun, unique theme that is just known for something. Like you can be known for having squad leaders. We had a few with just heavies out or having some bombers. You can be known for having deck layouts that are pretty long with dead ends. So because every season has a unique theme, I wanted one that was pretty fun and trying to make a meta that we've never seen before. And a big inspiration is a season that we had not too long ago. It was the first time we had a landing craft boost that season, meaning we had double rocket choppers, double heavy choppers. So I wanted exactly that season, but just not making it a chopper meta. So when designing it, those were some of the few key elements. No super strong troops like we've had so many metas with heavy choppers, rocket choppers, bombers, or seekers. So all four of those troops, not even in the tree. They're instead replaced with other proto troops, especially the OG ones from so many years ago. The Trifecta, Rainmakers, Critter Cannons, and Lasertrons, all pretty early in the tree, and of course having that landing craft boost pretty early too. But I also thought that that isn't enough to make it fun. Sure, you can make a new meta, but if you don't enjoy playing the season, then it kind of defeats the purpose of having a game. So that's why we added a few other things to kind of spice things up. A big part was having Speed Serum right off the bat, because that means not only are Critter Cannons, Rainmakers, Lasertrons pretty slow, but at least Serum can speed up every single hit. And you saw how crazy Rainmakers and Curricans was, especially just shooting like a million shots a second, and especially with their long range, just having crazy kind of hits. Another thing I added was these weird deck layouts where you have one ramp where you can drop troops, but they can't fully cross for the rest of the base. And you saw that from 2 ER all the way to 7 ER, which the main idea was just adding more strategy behind these attacks. And I think if we didn't have those ramps, then we'd probably never see much use of Rainmakers. Because when you combine Rainmakers and Critter Cannons together, well, critters spawn, but the bombs from the rains just kill them. But because of these ramps, you can almost separate them. And I didn't even know that you can send flares on one part of the base, while troops on the other ramp just keep on shooting. Which I think also added a pretty unique element that you can do these split hits. And of course, the third thing that I think made this season more unique is just a bunch of GBE. You already have Speed Serum and some other abilities like Crystal Shield and Defib are new, but having 250 potential GBE just means you have full freedom to do whatever hits you want. Like I think GBE was the only reason that in 5 and 6 ER, you could Rainmaker Rush. Just drop rains, flare every single engine, and have Serum the full way through. So all in all, these main things were kind of brought together to put this one theme of the season. A meta we never had before, that's hopefully still a little bit fun. And I know that these kind of metas may not have been for everyone. Some people like hits that are fast-paced and full of mayhem, while others like to take it a bit slower, drop troops, make a cup of tea, then finish your hit. But at least personally, I was surprised at how fun and crazy these attacks were. It's almost like back in the day doing Seeker or Rocket Chopper hits, but it's still completely different because these are technically slow troops. They have a lot of range and it's just about how you combine your flares and serum. And design-wise, we try to keep a balance between all the way from 2 ER to 7, like having some strong stuff at every engine, so there is a reason to keep on moving. And the idea was also this giving rise to some new strategies. Like of course 2 ER had Rainmakers, Zukas, and Serum. I've never seen a Rainmaker Rush or Zuka Rush either. Like we've had so many seasons of dropping heavies, flaring engines, and that's it. But imagine doing that with Zukas, only this season. And of course at 3 ER, you got even more troops. A lot of people like the Scorchers because you can have 16 in one hit. And early on, Lasertrons weren't too good, but we'll get to what might have came later on. And of course at 4 ER, the most dominant broken troop this season, Critter Cannons. Just the fact that when you serum them, you could just look away for a second, and then see like 2,000 critters on the map. I like these style hits also because critters don't even follow flares, so you could be more creative at as soon as you see some critters, you move on to other buildings. Because in other sorts of metas, you have to wait until buildings die before you keep on moving, but this adds a whole new element of strategy. And once you did go to 5 ER, you got the main meat shield of the season, those clone rifles. I always like clone rifles because they just look cool. Every time they die, they kind of are popcorns flying up. And it also gave more strategy when using Defibrillator, because you had to wait until some clones die, otherwise you only get level 1 rifles. And one of the things I might have changed going into 6 ER is just the deck layouts of 5 and 6. I know 5 was pretty strong, but 6, even with that one dead end, was still weaker than 5. So maybe giving 6 ER like another gap or some other nooks or dead ends might have been better, so you don't have to get so much at 6 ER to finally beat 5s. But later, once you did go to 6, you picked up some more troop damage, doing even crazier hits. And Defib also added more strategy. And then finally into 7 ER, I don't think I've ever seen a 7 ER meta that's changed this much. Like, it started with the good old clone rifle critter cannon hits, then we found out that turret is pretty strong, so throwing turrets for one engine can just snipe it down. Then even for a brief moment, before people had too many sky shields, you could just Rainmaker rush. Again, drop your troops, always have serum, and flare down the engines. And as people got more defenses, we kinda switched to a hybrid hit, Rainmakers or critter cannons on one side, same thing on the other ramp. And even beyond that, you had Scorcher hits because, well, with so many snipers and flotsams, Scorchers don't really care. And when people defended that, laser ranges were pretty strong, so many buildings lasers can finally deal with. And even beyond that, what might have been the most surprising thing is the Lasertrons being one of the strongest troops at the end. Just drop a few clones, a few critter cannons, then Lasertrons, and from one spot they can just clear the whole base. And I thought they'd have no use all the way from 3 ER, but being the strongest at 7 was kind of fun to see. Too bad we didn't see so much use from Shockeneers, Heavies, or Medics. At least Shockeneers were on the main path, but I guess things are so fast paced that you don't really need the shock effect. Now there were some ramp bugs, especially noticeable early on, that when you have less buildings and you drop Rainmakers or critter cannons, sometimes they shoot across the gap, but sometimes they just get stuck. So I know that was pretty annoying for a lot of people, but luckily towards 6 and 7 ER, it kind of became a non-issue. There were just so many buildings that you always have things that can shoot across the gap. But what I was really surprised by is that so many people were able to rank up so high. And it was awesome hearing about all these personal bests this season, especially those who don't buy instant training. Like normally, 4-week seasons have a much higher cutoff for top 500, but in this 3-week season, it looks like it'll top even that. More people at higher ranks also meant shorter matchmaking times, so I'm glad that we didn't have to spend too long waiting either. But as we sort of wrap up our thoughts, as far as lessons learned, maybe you could have made 6 ER a bit stronger than 5, at least at deck layout. Again, finding some ways to add more dead ends or maybe some gaps. And the other thing it might have changed is having more unused troops like Shockeneers, Heavies, a bit earlier in the tree and on the main path so we could see what people could come up with. Otherwise, personally, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. But let me know what you guys think, which parts you liked or didn't like, and how you did this season. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.